See, biryani again is very a vast subject, I could say. It's a cuisine on its own. I like the combination where they skip one ingredient that is added during the making. So they give it on the side. That is pepper mixed with a bit of salt in a ratio. So if you have it plain, it's actually not there. So you feel something is missing. I think there are three cities which is famous for their charts. That is Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta. Desserts are something that you eat with your eyes.
Today I am super excited because usually on my show we do something where we usually talk about career clarity, we talk about how you could become successful, but I'm so happy that we're doing this episode and podcast where we're going to talk about the food in Bangalore. What are some of the hidden kept secrets that you've discovered? And man, I'm super excited to do this. Now, I want to get straight to the question. Your Instagram handle is called Big Baba Foodie. You've been posting pictures about food that you explore around Bangalore. And before we get onto any of that journey, I want to ask you, out of all the things you've tried in terms of dishes, what could be your first, second, and third place? Not in any order, but your top three picks for your favorite go-to dishes.
My favorite go-to dishes, it keeps changing. As you said, not top three, but biryani.
Biryani,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. I can eat it every day. And then a good idli. A good
Idli,
idli.
idli,
Yeah.
nice.
And something with the evening, the Bangalore style masala puri chaats.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
These three things, I don't mind having it, repeating it every day. Yeah, because we have good options here.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think we have the best of everything here.
True.
If I talk about these three dishes or categories of food.
Very
Yeah.
true. And just the variation of each of these foods is so different, right? In biryani, you have like a nice authentic palav that you get, which is predominantly available in south of India. And then you have the Hyderabadi influenced dum biryani that you get. And a lot of variations in biryani itself. And then if you go to the chutney, sorry, the idli, then I feel the chutney, my mouth is already watering. But I feel in the idli, the chutney is the variation. And I, for one, can definitely agree with the three items that you said. There are so many places, but let's go to biryani first because I think biryani is where the heart lies. And what is by far the best biryani you've had in your entire life? And then we'll go to Bangalore,
Okay.
if it is in Bangalore.
Yeah. For me, see, biryani again is very a vast subject, I could say. It's a cuisine on its own. Though it's part of different cuisines in different regions, the way it has traveled, I love the way the journey of it has
Can you
happened.
quickly tell us what that is?
See, it's all in few articles here and there because we cannot go back to history.
Correct.
So they say that it's come from the Persian travel, the Persian influence, the Persian invasions that used to happen, and it is a food. The word biryani, it's a Persian word, is what they say, and it means meat or lamb that is cooked. That's it, cooked meat, slow cooked meat. It didn't even have rice apparently.
Oh.
Rice was added later on.
Okay.
So once it starts moving, the dish, I think that's how cuisine also spreads. Once it starts moving from like Persia, then it moved to like the other countries, like the part of the ex-USSR, like you have the, what is that, the Uzbeki pulav. So even this, all these countries, if you see the map, the biryani has traveled from Persia, then to Uzbekistan, then to the Northwest Frontier Province, and all this has happened over a period of almost 800 to 900 years.
Seeped up till India
And then
now.
it's come down till the rock bottom. You can say your Rameshwaram, your Kanyakumari, Sri Lanka. So you can understand, and once it hit India, India is the spice capital of the world. So every region, they add something and change the flavor and enhance it and try to match it with their palate requirement.
Correct.
So I think that is how it has traveled, and that's the best thing that is, and it has happened to most of the dishes. And this journey of biryani is nicely kind of written down in by the few historians, and I feel we can't debate on that whether it's true or false.
Yeah.
It's not the platform for that, but that's what I like. And my favorite place, my favorite type of biryani is Hyderabadi style.
Okay.
And all the also the Awadhi style, which I recently got to try from Lucknow. So Lucknow was the culinary capital. So during the Mughal period that we had of around 500, 600 years, the Awadhi, it's called as the Awadhi cuisine.
Any specific place that
Yeah,
you'd
so
recommend these
there
to?
in Lucknow, there is a place called Idris Biryani. So it is a very, very fragrant biryani. They call it as, some people, they call it, see again, the biryani, palau, again the concept that comes. I really don't have any issue calling it a palau, calling it a biryani. I have met many chefs, I have met many bawarchis and many food experts. Each has their own way of explanation. It is not a science text or a theorem of a math debate where you cannot say this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Each one has their own explanations. So they call it as biryani, and it is something that is cooked in the meat broth. So it has a separate vessel in which it is cooked in, and the meat broth, into the meat broth you add rice, and then you have a lot of fragrances to it. So it's a very fragrant biryani. So you have the kevda water that is added.
What
That's
is the kevda?
Kevda is a type of a flour.
Okay.
Yeah, so type of flour in which they do a lot of, they extract the essence of that flour and they store it. So again with Lucknow, you know how it is popular for perfumes.
Okay.
So the attar that was made, and that region makes perfumes. They have a very old history. So they have added this perfume. They like perfumes. So that's what they have put into their cuisine as well. So this is a very fragrant biryani. It's a mutton-based biryani, which mutton is something that imbibes a lot of flavors from the meat into the
Rice.
dish, into the rice. So it's a white color biryani.
Oh.
Okay, it's just white in color, and they just add some saffron to it on top, and you just have few grains that's coated with it. But it is so fragrant. If you eat it, your hand will be like as if you've dipped in some perfume.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's very popular there, and I've not been to Lucknow yet, but I got a takeaway from my sister who had gone there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Even
amazing.
today, actually today evening, I have one of my friend is in Hyderabad, and I requested her to get me a Hyderabadi biryani
From where?
from Shag House.
Okay.
There were 2-3 places, so they wanted. She was skeptical about the packaging, so I told her to get from whichever she feels comfortable. So Shag House is one place that makes a very good Hyderabadi biryani. So that's the layered style of biryani where you have the meat at the bottom. So Hyderabadi biryani is my favorite personally because I love the way it's cooked. I love the flavors, the basmati rice that's used. So I like that.
I have another question just to quickly slide because we were talking about biryani. Now, for a lot of people watching, you've given a lot of recommendations in Bangalore to eat. Give me your 5 go-to places to eat biryani, irrespective of what type of biryani it is.
Yeah.
Give me 5, your top picks.
Awesome. So the best Hyderabadi biryani I would say is the Hyderabadi Biryani House on Victoria Road. There are multiple branches, but on Victoria Road, that branch is something that somebody has to try. And next would be the Maratha style from the Chickpete side of the old Bangalore, called as the S.G. Rao Military Hotel.
Yes.
So this is a biryani that's made, starts at 5 a.m. in the morning. So this is a Maratha style influence.
Correct.
So that is one thing that I really,
I love it too,
I
with
love
the
it.
pepper on top and the lemon.
that is SGS Gundu Palav. That is my third I was about to say.
Okay.
This is SG Rao Military Hotel.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the one of the oldest. I think it's 108, 110-year-old
Oh, wow.
hotel or an institution is what I can call. So it's really good. It starts at 5 a.m. If you have not tried it, you should try that place. And next would be the SGS Gundu Palav. It's a fairly new place, I think around 20 years old place, where I like the combination where they skip one ingredient that is added during the making. So they give it on the side. That is pepper mixed with a bit of salt in a ratio. So if you have it plain, it's actually not there. So you feel something is missing.
Correct.
But when you kind of sprinkle the pepper that's given on the side, as you already mentioned, and you seem to be a big fan of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It kind of enhances it. Yeah, it's like adding some lime into something, some dishes.
It enhances the taste much more and it hits your palate right immediately.
Exactly.
Your second and first.
3. I've done with
3. Give me 2 more.
2 more. So this would be a Shivaji Military Hotel is something that I have very good memories.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are also there from I think quite a few decades. I've been having since around 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Have you tried the Sharif Bai's biryani?
Sharif Bai's biryani. Yeah, Sharif Bai is also a good.
But I still want your
No, no.
opinion.
Yeah. No, I have such a big list. I'm spoiled for choice in my head. Like in my head I'm having fights. If I pick up this, then suddenly another thought comes and say no, I need to pick this. So it is a big, very difficult. I need a day to pick my top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So because the reason is you like everything.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's like how can you pick all your favorites and try to list it down? So it's fun. But Sharif Bhai, thanks for saying that. Sharif Bhai is something that I really loved because I think it's a fairly new place. Though they are the founders of that, actually need to really appreciate. I've spoken to him many times. His name is Mr. Nawaz Sharif. He started biryani in a box, very similar to pizzas or burgers, called as Ammi's Biryani, and this was around 15 years ago. So I really appreciate the way they tried to pack biryani, and this was a time when there was no Swiggy, no Zomato. It was all done over the phone. There was no internet.
Correct.
This was back, I think, in 2007, 2008. You had to call that number and you need to go, or they will deliver it to you. If not, you need to go and pick it up and come. So they had small pockets where they would give one empty bowl to put the bones. Then you had one big space where you had the biryani.
Wow.
Then you had the space where they would give the kind of kheer. So that was really good.
Awesome.
And they started Sharif Bhai.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think
so-
that's a great story, and even I had the chance to recently eat it. But I think super tasty, super amazing.
You had the mutton?
Yeah, the mutton.
Yeah, that's
it
the
was
best.
brilliant.
Yeah. So this is the Bangalore Muslim style biryani is what they call.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think because Muslim style, I don't know how that term has come because most of the biryanis everywhere it's done. It's from the Mughals and from that's how
Correct.
the religion part of it comes. But I feel it's a Bangalore created dish, which is slightly influenced by the Tamil Muslims from Ambur, from Hyderabad, the Vaniambadi. All these influences are there in our Bangalore Muslim style biryani.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. What about your chaat? What about masal puri? Your chaat?
Chaats also, like I really love the Bangalore style masal puri which is done, where it's again chaats. It's a street food dish.
Correct.
It is not something that you make at home. Nobody makes charts at home. It's always gone to the street, you stand and you have.
Yeah.
So that's the best part of
Correct,
chaat. You can't-
100%.
Yeah. So the Bangalore style is something that has been influenced by Mumbai. Mumbai has been the kind of a chart capital. I think there are 3 cities which is famous for their charts. That is Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta. These 3 guys, I think, where all the influence happens. So for me, number 1 is Karnataka Bale House.
Okay.
Again, for the history, how they maintained, and just even now they will come on anybody's top list.
Okay.
That is tough to achieve. And the mood they started in a shop and they have retained in a shop. They have few franchisees and all are doing good.
Okay.
Yeah. And next, if I pick up a cart, it's in South Bangalore. There are quite a few here. I would go for. There is one actually on Hanmant Nagar, 50 feet road, called as Shiva's Chats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right down the lane.
Yes, right down here.
On the right side.
Yes.
Okay.
Shiva's Chats actually I would pick equally with the Karnataka Bale House, and they are also again from the same family.
Okay.
So they have the same kind of a flavor profile in all their dishes. I would pick both of them, and then would be one Shivu Gadi is what I call, which is near Uma Maheshwari Temple,
Okay.
near Jayanagar 7th block and Banshangi 2nd stage. That guys is what I like again. Then there is another one called as Nandi Chats.
Yes, Nandi chats. Now, thankfully, I've tasted most of what you just said, so yeah, I can acknowledge.
So
it.
Nandi Chats is one. So he is now moved into a shop. He has 2 shops, and his son was my classmate in PU. So I'm very close to Nandi Chats because it was the first chats which I had. They had a cart on Vani Vilas Road.
Okay.
Okay, so I used to have it for 2 rupees back then. So it was right next to my granny's place. So even there, I liked their journey. They were on a cart, then moved into a shop, then opened another outlet. and things like that. But it's been a while since I've been there because I got to know of other few carts
Okay.
which I felt which is driving me. There is another special mention is a guy called Kumar Charts.
Okay.
So this guy I feel needs to be given for the best innovation in charts, not just by adding some cheese and some spoiling the dish, but making it in a very a chef's way of innovation.
Where is it?
This is in this Cosmopolitan Club,
Yeah.
Ashok Pillar. What's that? Jayanagar second block.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on that street.
Okay.
So they are again from the one family which has 5 carts in a radius of around 6 to 8 kilometers. So, but this guy only does that innovation. So he has one very special dish called as the reverse masala puri.
Okay.
So you know how a masala puri is constructed. You crush the puris and then you start adding the chutneys, the hot masala gravy, and then you top it with some onions and the save. He does it reverse. He puts all these first and then crushes the puri on top.
Oh.
So his idea is when I put all these hot things and by the time it comes to you, the puri would have become soggy like a chapati. If I put it on top, it will be more crispier.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So it was suggested by one of his customers who wanted a takeaway.
Wow.
So he has it from the past 10 to 12 years and I appreciate his innovation. You should go and try if you have not been there.
Definitely.
He has
should
some
try.
really innovative dishes which needs to be appreciated.
Superb.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. I think a lot of these speak a lot of reminiscence for the South Bangaloreans watching this episode today.
Oh yes, it's the food capital.
I want to ask you, how did you start this entire journey of exploring food?
So with food, I think since a young age I've been a foodie because I come from the Arya Vaishya community. And as far as I know, all of them are foodies. Okay, so we always try to ensure that if we are having breakfast, we plan our lunch. Lunchtime, we plan our evening snack, not dinner. Okay, evening snack, and then we plan for our dinner. So that's the way it is. That's the way I've been grown at since a young age. My family, everybody is that way. And me, I was a vegetarian, I think, until I was, I think, 16 years or something. Then I got into trying some new food, that is the non-vegetarian side, and I loved it. Yeah, and my parents are also comfortable with me trying it, so that is fine. And over years, in the college time, and I think food was, and living in Bangalore, we didn't have much of, like we don't have a beach or some hill station side. Here it was more of a laid back city. So food was the only place where we would actually go meet up friends, join there, or maybe some cafe, CCD that was there. And I think that's how most of us have some basic knowledge of food.
Correct.
For me, I became more curious because at a young age, I was actually not watching cartoons. I was watching Sanjeev Kapoor's cooking videos.
Wow.
On ZTV. Yeah. So that is what would always excite me. And over years, whenever I got a chance to try new food, new cuisines, new dishes, I would always explore it. I would not stop. I wanted to try everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think exploring food in Bangalore automatically comes to people, like you said, it's ingrained in us to a point where today Bangalore is like the mecca for all North Indians, people from different parts of India to come. And there you see, I feel you find diversity in that cuisine and the amount of flavors are too high.
Yes, exactly. Very rightly said. And it is like the diversity also, it is kind of next level. It's on par of maybe Mumbai or New York. I would say that way because too many people from different parts of the country have actually taken a one-way ticket and have settled here. So they will always be connected to their food because food is something you can't skip. It's not an option. You need to have 3 meals a day. So they cannot suddenly come here and start having an idli dosa. Probably they will have it once a while. But somebody coming from Bengal, they would want their mustard fish and all these kind of dishes which they are used to. And the same thing goes to every community from different parts. So I think that is what became one of the main igniting factors for Bangalore to get everything here.
Correct. Very true. And I myself have had the chance to explore so much in depth. And every time I just discover a new place, I discover something new, and I'm so excited. Now I want to move into another dimension, right? The first dimension is, can you give me your most offbeat, non-popular places. Give me two places that you would like to mention where not many people might know of it, but they serve some of the best lip-smacking food that there is. Very offbeat.
Okay, right now with social media influence, saying offbeat or hidden gem, once there's an Instagram trend, the hidden gem doesn't become a hidden gem. Everybody gets to know about it, which is a very good thing. Um, um, like that, in biryani, if I have to pick these same dishes, uh, there would be, now I'm again, I would say Halli Jonne biryani in
Third block.
Jayanagar.
Third block,
Yeah,
Janagar. Okay.
it's known only in that people who have it there. Of course, now they have become popular. They have come on covered by many YouTube channels and everything. I would say that is one place that is less explored by people from other parts.
Now, if I talk about successful restaurants, we're coming to the fag end of the podcast. Uh, Now, leaving biryani, leaving idli, and leaving your chaat, if I have to ask you to give me the 5 best places to eat food, dessert, and this time I'll give you my 5. Like I'll give you my 5 as well, so that the audience also gets a unique
yes,
taste
I'm
of it.
looking forward to it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll give you my 5 out of my entire experience. So we'll go one each, right? So
Yeah,
we'll
that's-
go one each.
yeah.
So I think it'll give you some perspective. So what we'll do is you give me the name and 15 seconds on what that is. So we'll see how that'll go. Yeah, what's your first amongst your top 5? It could be a cafe, it could be a restaurant, it could be even a pub, whatever. What's your top 5 in Bangalore?
Restaurant, I would pick Brick Oven.
Brick oven.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I love the way they brought in cuisine which is not known here.
Okay.
The only kind of pizzas you have had is the Americanized pizza, that is not the Italian style. So they brought in those kind of recipes or something that kind of an inspiration. I would call it as an inspiration, inspired by the original dishes and making it here with really tough techniques of cooking or baking, which is used in the Italian restaurants. So that is one place which I really appreciate, and the taste is pretty damn good.
I think I'll pick farm lore. For me, that's on the other end of the spectrum. But it was my first-hand experience of like really good fine dining experience. I love how the chefs interacted with me. I also spoke to them very intimately, and I went alone on my bike. Traveled about 40 kilometers in Yelahanka. But I think it's a perfect place for anybody who wants to go on a date. Perfect place for anybody who wants to feel what it is like to eat some MasterChef level of food. And most importantly, when they're talking to you, you get the depth and the level of knowledge. Like you said, they have real understanding of the food. So for me, Farmlore was a real good experience, and I had that last year sometime. So yeah.
Second pick would be something. Let's go to some Pan Asian. Yeah, like an Indo-Chinese Tangra influence restaurant. I would pick China Pearl.
Okay, China
Yeah.
Pearl. Tell me a little more about it. I haven't been there.
China Pearl, it's a Tangra is a region in Kolkata where you had a lot of Chinese migrants living there, and they started, and it's actually even China is a vast country and it has its own communities. So you have a region from the southern part of China. So like the Hakka community.
Yeah, yeah.
So these guys who migrated to India and they settled in Kolkata. So they started spreading this cuisine using the dishes, the ingredients that is locally available, and also to match the local taste preferences or the palate
Nice.
preference. So China Pearl is one that is there from almost around 30-40 years and still serves one of the best Indo-Chinese food in
Awesome.
Bangalore.
Okay, I think my second pick would be this place which my family has always been in love with. It's called Eden Huts Dhaba. It's off Sarjapur Road. My grandfather has been going there, and there's one dish that is always ordered irrespective of what we order, and that's the pepper chicken. I think that falls like I can just visualize it and just eat it every day. So for me, that is number 2 because everything else is also equally good. So if there's a vegetarian watching this and they say, okay, what's a compensative of the pepper chicken? Maybe the pepper mushroom dry. Brilliant food, fresh food, always jam-packed even on weekdays.
Next, so we did some Panasian, some Italian, and how about something from some healthy, some salads?
Where?
I would pick copper and cloves.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I follow them on
Ramnagar.
Instagram,
Yeah.
but tell me a little more about them.
So they show food in such a way that it's completely meat free, and whatever dishes, whatever ingredients that they try to use, they also go back to how they were procured, who is making it. Like they kind of find the vendors. It's just not something you go to a supermarket, you pick it up and you cook it up. They actually are trying to make something sustainable, something which you will not feel guilty if you are having it. See, so many places we just go and we don't know what is happening, whether the farmer is paid rightly for that. We don't know. These are something that most of the city dwellers ignore. So I feel it's a very small place. It's a very small place, but I really appreciate what they're trying to give, and the dishes are actually really pretty
Nice.
tasty and delicious.
So I think it's Magnolia, and I kind of like Amintri. Like I love their the cookie cake. What is that? The cookie dough cake.
Okay.
I think that's brilliant. Really good. The motichur cake is amazing. The strawberry streusel cake is amazing, and all of these are packed boxes. They look very classy.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's mango. The seasonal one is what the cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
It's really good. All their dishes, all their pastries, whatever they're now, they haven't have a brick and mortar outlet now.
Correct.
Yeah. So
What would you pick?
I would pick Lavon.
Oh, Lavon. Oh yeah, Lavon. Like man, yeah.
So they are doing something that if you take something from Lavon and something from Paris, like the French, the hub, the base for French culinary, you can call it a French patisserie. A dish from there and a dish from here, nobody will be able to say that this is from Bangalore. That's the standard that they have caught up with. And big shout out to the founder,
True.
Mr. Chef Vinish John. So that's why I would pick Lavon, because desserts are something that you eat with your eyes.
Now, I think in my second place, I'd include two people who are home chefs, not home chefs, but they have their own pop ups. And again, discovered them recently over a year's time. One is Anatomy Burgers. I think possibly the best burgers in Bangalore, one of the best burgers at least. The closest commercial one would be the Louis burger to that. Anatomy was what I feel. But on the other side, I'd also give my heads up to Kavan. Kuttappa for some really good ramen. His shoyu ramen is the best. Like I haven't come across anybody. I've been to a couple of ramen places in Ireland and all of that, but nothing matches his level of artistry, I feel. So I think I'd give shout outs to both of them at second place.
I was going to do that actually. Yeah. So Anatomy Burgers is something that I've been his most regular customer. And Eat Naru's ramen, I think I've ordered a couple of times because it's a pop-up thing. The timings don't match when I want to.
And he's always sold out.
Yeah.
Always with a huge.
And
line.
now he's full time now as a permanent pop-up, if you want to call it, at the Courtyard.
Courtyard community. Yeah.
So I would want to try. I would want to go there and dine and have the ramen there.
Nice.
But I've heard really great reviews about it, and I really appreciate what both of them are trying to do. Yeah. For burgers, I would pick Burger Senior.
Burger Senior, yeah.
Along with Anatomy Burgers.
Yeah.
Because they are really damn delicious.
Yeah. And even the skillet cookie is brilliant there.
Oh yes, yes.
The skillet cookie is to die for.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a big shout out to a restaurant that's very close by to this place, which is the Mini Punjabi Dhaba.
Oh yes, yes.
I think for the budget or the quantity and the food that he gives is very, very good.
I heard they recently revamped and
Yeah, they did revamp, and the foods never changed. Simple, elegant, and amazing. The other few places that also pop in my mind are the Chula Chowki Daba in JP Nagar, and then the food in Mokoholic is really good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been to Mokohali.
Mokoholic, the food is really good there.
Okay.
So a few places, but I think this covers most of my go-to places. So what's yours?
Something like that would be Unity Kamath restaurant.
Yeah.
This is something that I have been going there as a kid, and most of them I think have that kind of a nostalgic feeling. So I love their the Indo-Chinese preparations they have, and the North Indian curries, and I think they make the best methi malai matta in
Yeah,
Bangalore.
yeah. My
Oh
dad
my
would
God.
definitely agree to what you said.
Yeah.
My dad is also a huge fan of the same. So man, yeah, true.
Yeah, and then would be Corner House, and who can't? I don't think it needs a mention.
Yeah, mention.
Yeah.
It's there. It's a staple.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Anyways, man, Big Baba Foodie, thank you so much
Yes,
for
man. Thank you so
coming
much.
on my show. It's a pleasure, and I hope this podcast is going to be refreshing. And people who watched it can go try some of these places, and let's look out for much more opportunities as the same.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was really a great pleasure talking to you, and especially about food, which is my favorite subject. Yeah. And hope to explore some nice, good places with you.
Let's do it,
Yeah.
man. Let's do it.
Okay.
Thank you
Yes,
once
man.
again.
Thank you.